Utilizing her language skills, culture-oriented interests, and crisis intervention training certification, she often provides cultural diversity training for law enforcement agencies and investigation assistance with Korean nationals. Please join me in welcoming Sooyeon Shin.
Good afternoon. Can everybody hear me okay in the back? Okay, great. Thank you guys for coming. I see some familiar faces from the city and from Surplus Energy that I have trained every Wednesday in the month of May. They're here to fact check me, so welcome everybody. Just to let you know, we're gonna have some plate of snacks going around. I brought some Korean snacks for you to try, and it's gonna be a fun challenge after we go through Chopstick training. So we'll do a fun challenge activity where you get to try picking up the shrimp crackers first, and then the corn puffs, that's gonna be round little things, and then M&Ms, that's gonna be slippery. So it's gonna be a fun challenge for you guys in the later in the presentation. So please try your hardest not to eat them all right away. If you do, let us know. We brought extra, so you'll be covered. All right. So as Courtney said, I was born and raised in South Korea, so English is my second language, and this is a picture of my very first birthday in South Korea. I was born in a tiny island called Kojedo, for those of you who are from Korea, and I wear several different hats. So as Courtney said, I serve as an executive director at International Center of West Lafayette. So West Lafayette is where Purdue is. It's 1 hour west of here. And it's a nonprofit organization that provides language services. We have a program called conversation groups where newcomers to town, newcomers to the country to get together, practice their English without any classroom setting. So we do a lot of food events because food is something that brings everybody together. So we welcome diversity and we celebrate diversity. And the picture in the middle, you'll see one of the sponsors here, David. Where's David? Yep, there he is. In his previous life, we worked with him. BJ, if you can raise your hand in the back. He is not a catering staff for today, but he's my business partner from Moyars Consulting, BJ Moyars. Yay! He's in disguise today. He worked with Chinese delegation part. He's fluent in Chinese. So we worked with City of Kokomo in the past, developing sister city relationship with China. Now I get to come in and help out the Korean aspect of our business. So, and I also serve as a reserve officer in Tippecanoe County. So I worked out as Korean interpreter when there's any police matter involving Korean nationals. BJ also helps out with Chinese nationals as a police officer. So it was very natural for me to get into that. So we help out with investigations assistance or interpretation assistance throughout the state. So yeah, I wear many different uniforms and many different hats. So this is part of the series. I understand that some of you guys have joined us from April. This is our third training in the series, and we have 2 more in July and August. If you guys can join, please do. Who's here for the first time? Who's joining the series for the first time? Okay, all right. But most of you have been here, so I'm glad that you're continuing your education with Korean business training. So today, the topic is food and beverage. We're going to be talking about some dining etiquettes and generic overview of Korean food. I'm glad, I was so surprised to see many of you trying kimchi. Any of you guys trying kimchi for the first time today? Okay, very good. Even the mayor, okay, that's good. Did you guys find it a little spicier than what you're used to?
Just right.
Just right. Okay, that's what I want to hear. Awesome. So we'll do like kind of Korean food 101. The we're gonna go through how important food is in our culture, and we share food as part of like building relationships. So I think it'll be important for all of you guys because we'll have an influx of Korean folks coming here and in your businesses as well. And we'll do the chopstick exercise, but it looks like it's not really needed here. I saw so many of you guys using chopsticks without failing. So, but then we'll go over the proper way of using chopsticks, but you can go back to whatever you're comfortable with. And we'll touch base on etiquettes when it comes to food and beverage in Korea. Okay, so Korean cuisine is known for using fresh ingredients and balance of flavors, use of spices and fermented foods. As you tried kimchi, it has very strong flavor, strong smell, right? So we eat a lot of fermented foods, and fresh ingredients also includes like seafood. So our country is surrounded by ocean all three sides, so seafood is very common in Korea. So I've never heard of shellfish allergy until I came to America. I didn't know people could be allergic to seafood, but it's very common in Korea. So as you go to Korean restaurants, you think that like side dishes, they look innocent, they look all vegan and vegetarian, but please know that there may be like anchovy sauce and shrimp paste and stuff like that. So Korean cuisine would believe that food is medicine. I think a lot of like plant-based or vegan culture in America is kind of developing this idea as well. But when we get sick, our parents will try to give us like really well-made food instead of seeking out that pharmacy medicine. So food is very important in our culture. And this picture is kind of like the basic setup of Korean food. So we have bowl of rice, soup, and the main dish, whatever it may be, and we have side dishes. You guys, how many of you guys went to Korean restaurant before? Been to Korean restaurant? Okay, majority of you guys. So it's so confusing when you go to Korean restaurant and see so many dishes and you wonder which one's mine, right? Because in American setting, it's usually everything that belongs to you is right in front of your face, right? But in Korea, it's like a communal kind of culture that we share side dishes. So in this setup, what's directly in front of you belongs to you, and everything else is you share with whoever's in the table with you. So let's talk about key flavors in Korean food. So we use a lot of soy sauce, sesame oil, garlic, chili pepper flakes, or paste, which is called gochujang. I think gochujang is becoming so popular, right, in the food scene right now. Soy sauce, so what gets me is when you go to Walmart and go to like the global food section and they have something called Asian sauce. What the heck is Asian sauce? I don't know what that is. But some people think that soy sauce is Asian sauce, but yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me. Soy sauce, sesame oil, I think this can be found in your regular grocery stores now because more people are wanting to have this. So yeah, it's very garlicky. Some people find Korean food very garlicky and gingery, but that's the main ingredient that we like to use. Another unique flavors that I haven't seen in any other cuisines is that we use fermented soybean paste, which is on the left side, and anchovy sauce and salted shrimp. Have you guys ever seen salted shrimp? Like jar full of salted shrimp like that, right? It looks weird, it sounds weird, but it tastes so good. You probably could taste it in your kimchi if you really close your eyes and observe what you're tasting. So those are some unique flavors that I think is unique to Korean cuisine. And popular foods. So you guys all tried kimchi. Who haven't tried kimchi today? You just refuse to try it. Yeah? Okay. Don't be shy. I understand that. Yeah, it's a required taste, I think. So it's fermented vegetable dish that you can be, it can be found in every Korean household, right? Koreans, do you guys have kimchi in your fridge? Yeah, we can't live without it. And restaurants too. So it's got garlic, ginger, that red pepper, chili, and it's over 3,000 years old. So our ancestors, it's been going in generations. And we have more than 200 types. Can you imagine that? So the cabbage kimchi is one of the common ones, but we also have radish kimchi, cucumber kimchi, and like this white radish kimchi with water. So you will see so many different kinds, but we all call them kimchi. And you can have kimchi in different ways. It doesn't have to be raw like it was served today. It can be made in pancakes, it can be in stew, it can be mixed with rice and dumplings. So you may see kimchi in many different ways. And bibimbap, who have tried bibimbap? Very good, okay. So surplus energy, folks, when you guys are on the plane for 14 hours, going to Korea, you may be served bibimbap because it's so easy, and I think I've tried it every time I go to Korea, so yeah, be on the lookout for that. So it's mixed rice served with meat and a bunch of vegetables, and a lot of people in the US actually have tried bibimbap because it's considered, you can mix and match what you put in as fillings, so it can be totally vegan if you don't want meat on it, so I think it's becoming a really popular option. Bulgogi. Have you guys tried bulgogi? Ooh, okay. I see the same hands going up who just love Korean cuisine. That's awesome. So it's marinated beef slices that is served in Korean restaurants or barbecue place. So on the left side, it's kind of like the common dish that you can find bulgogi, but in Korea, we put it in pizza, we put it in hamburger, so it can be in many different ways. As I talked about side dishes, so Korean meals are always served with banchan. Can you guys say banchan? Banchan, very good. So side dishes in Korea, it's all free, and you can actually ask for more. Like you can ask for refills and it will be without any cost. And most common ones are fermented vegetables, and it can be seasoned eggs or seafood or any kind of meat. And it's meant to complement, enhance, and provide contrast to the main dish. So we're looking for that balance of flavors, as I talked about before. And I think Korean restaurants in the US also offer side dishes for free, but I think some places actually charge for extra, but it might be different. So this is kind of like the common side dishes you might see. My suggestions to a lot of younger folks wanting to work at restaurants, I tell them not to work at Korean restaurants, because look at how many side dishes there are for one meal. There are a lot of side dishes you gotta clean. But yeah, you can see the colors different, how ingredients are different. You see vegetables and meat and all kinds of things. So usually people can just have side dishes and just bowl of rice. You can, it's enough of flavors that you can just finish the one bowl of rice. One thing that's unique to Korean food, I'm not sure about Korean restaurants in the US, but Korean restaurants in Korea, we serve the whole food as it came. Do you know fish has heads? It really shows how fresh those things are. You know, like frozen fish that you get from Walmart, it comes without the head, right? But in Korea, we serve it with the tail and everything, so it shows that it's really fresh. It was fresh caught, it was grilled today, and the bone broth, beef short rib soup as well. It comes with bones in it because that's how it came from. And another pictures I wanted to show you. When you order seafood, it's gonna be in shells. The whole octopus you see, that's really interesting to Westerners, I think. And the one on the far right is the raw crabs. It's seasoned with soy sauce, and it's really, really good. You may find those in Korean restaurants that are in the coast area, West Coast, East Coast, where seafood is more common. But yeah, we like to serve food as whole. And just to prepare you, hopefully we'll have some Korean barbecue places coming in Kokomo. I think it's just a matter of time. Where Koreans are, there will be Korean barbecues coming in. So this is the basic setup for Korean barbecue, where you actually grill meat where you sit. So we'll have like charcoal or any kind of grill in the middle of the table, and it can be grilled. You guys can take turns or have the server help you out. A lot of times servers, when the servers kind of like see the meat getting burnt, they will come and help out and flip it for you. But it's a fun exercise, I think, even for kids too. It's a fun activity. And on the picture on the right, you see something like coming off of the ceiling. That's the extractor pipe that sucks all the smoke out of it, so that your clothes won't smell like barbecue when you go back to work or so. And so many meat options. There's pork belly, which is the most common one. There's like brisket, sliced cuts, pork ribs, pork neck, pork skin, you name it. And intestines. Does that gross you out? Do you guys have tried intestines before? No, it's a firm no, Courtney. Okay. It's one of the common meat options in Korea. And I'm sure Korean restaurants, barbecue places in Indiana also have this option. It looks a little weird, but once you try one, you will never not try it ever again. And some places offer seafood and mushroom options, so we try to accommodate non-meat eaters as well. And I bring this up because I wanted to teach you guys like very common concept. It's like, some Chinese places have like lettuce wrap dishes, right? Like P.F. Chang has those. But when you eat barbecue, we call this sam. Can you guys say sam? Sam, right? It just means it's a wrap with lettuce or sesame leaves, and you put a little bit of rice, a little bit of meat, and the whatever sauce, condiments you guys want, and side dishes. And then the goal is to not go overboard with what's in the lettuce leaves. The goal is to be able to put everything in your mouth once. And that's a fun challenge all the time. But the beauty is that you kind of combine everything that's to your taste, and you will have the whole balance of flavors in your mouth kind of thing. So it's a fun exercise, and let me play this video made by Strictly Dumpling.
What's up, guys? I am in Korea, the southern one, at Gangnam, Sooyeon. And today, I'm gonna try out something I've been wanting to try forever in South Korea: Korean barbecue. Or here, they probably just call it barbecue. And as you know, I love Korean barbecue, so now I get to try it at the source. First thing I noticed already is the barbecue grill is way different than what we have in the States. In the States, the grills are typically gas, but here they use real wood charcoal. If you've never done it before, next time you barbecue, use wood charcoal. The smell is incredible. Dip it in my salt and sesame, and I have some raw onions here, so I made a little sam out of it. So exciting. Holy cow, that was one of the most glorious things I've ever seen in my mouth. This is my favorite. I love brisket. Let's do the same thing. Dip it in the salt and sesame. Grab some onions, make it a little sam. Oh, I think one simple thing to make your Korean barbecue experience much better, add some sesame in there. That makes such a difference. Whatever you put in your mouth is going to become more aromatic. Your meat's going to have such a nice sesame flavor, and that wood charcoal makes such a difference. You can taste the smokiness of the wood in the meat, and the meat is so tender. You know, in the U.S., you kind of do your own barbecue, and like here, it's definitely full service. They cook the meat for you, so it's completely optimized. And I'm sitting here filming, and the lady's like, you gotta eat it quick, otherwise it's not gonna be as tender. So every single piece of meat here is cooked perfectly. Now I'm gonna put my steak in a little salad, make a little sum out of that. Everything here leaps and bounds better than anything I've had in the States. I mean, I should expect that because this is the source. This is South Korea. I'm here for Korean barbecue. But there's absolutely no comparison to how much this is better than what I had in the States. Like the little banchan themselves. I mean, first of all, look at the size of the banchan they give you. These are like literally meals. I could eat this and be full. And there's free refills of all these things. So I could just come here, order like a small portion of meat, and just feast myself on the banchans. This.
Okay. So in the beginning, you probably have noticed he took off his shoes to get on the floor of the restaurant. There are many restaurants like that in Korea, but I think most of the Korean restaurants in the US, they have the table setting. But in case you go to one of those restaurants, make sure you have clean socks. Get your pedicures, not to embarrass yourself. So Korean street food, it's such a common culture that you may see these kind of foods as appetizers in Korean restaurants. So on the left, we've got, what do you think those are? On the left, what's it look like on a stick? Yeah, it's actually fish cake. Yeah, those are fish cake that we love with the soup, the broth that comes with it. The spicy noodle looking thing, those are called tteokbokki, which is spicy rice cake. And at the bottom, who was I talking to? The roll, the sesame, the seaweed roll that we call kimbap. It looks like sushi that has fish in it, but it's not. It's usually vegetables and meat. And we've got on the top right, we've got hot dogs. We call those hot dogs. It's corn dogs, right, in America, but we use the same name for hot dogs and corn dogs, so we call them hot dogs. And those are going crazy in Korea. We have like funny looking hot dogs that's like rolled in pieces of potato and it's deep fried. I mean, and there's like cheese inside. It's a little crazy. And on the bottom right, we've got Korean fish bread. Remember I told you we love seafood, but this isn't fish. It's just shaped like fish, but it's got sweet bean paste in it. It's just fish shaped. And this is what you would see to get Korean street food. You see the lady in the middle. She's the owner of the place, and people just sit around, and you see people walking by, and you just, while you're shopping, if you get hungry, you just sit down and have a quick snack and get on with your day. And this is common Korean snacks. And as I told you about seafood, on the left side is shrimp crackers, which is on your plate right now, the long stick ones. Those actually have seafood shell powder in it and will smell like shrimp. And we've got like octopus chips and squid chips and like everything seafood oriented. And some do taste like those seafood and some not. But just want to tell you like how how much we love seafood. It's in our snacks as well. Imagine squid, yeah. All right, food in Korean culture. I think Lori and a couple of you guys from the city, when you guys tried Korean food with Korean business partners, you realized like that was really must needed activity, right? To build relationship. So it's really embedded in our day-to-day life that even the phrases that we say, how are you? There's a common way of saying, which means, have you eaten? That's our way of greeting. And see you again, instead of saying see you again, we sometimes say, let's eat together, let's have lunch together, dinner together, let's grab a drink together. So that's just part of our everyday greeting. And eating really indicates overall well-being in Korean life. I think this comes from after Korean War, our country just had to start from scratch, and food was so scarce that eating was not really important because you had to survive. So that like staying alive became so important that like we ask each other, have you eaten today? So I think it came from that that time that we usually ask, have you eaten today? Are you doing well? And eating together, as I have mentioned, even our setup, it's meant to share with everybody at the table. Oh yeah, you see fish with a head on the picture on the left. Yeah, those are to be shared with folks that you are dining with. And I'm sure COVID has killed our habit of actually sharing like a big pot of soup. The picture on the right, you see 2 spoons in the soup, right? So you can still see this happening in family gathering at homes, but since COVID in Korean restaurants, we try not to do that. We try to use individual bowl to avoid like direct sharing since COVID. So it's something that is going away, but it still happens in households. Okay, chopsticks. Do you guys all have chopsticks now? Okay. So, just out of curiosity, do you guys have chopsticks at home? Why? Because it's fun? And I'm assuming a lot of you guys have tried chopsticks from like going to Chinese restaurants and stuff, right? Yeah. So when you go to Korean restaurants, you may see something different from what you are used to. In Korea, we use metal, very thin, like flat metal chopsticks. And as you see, other countries use bamboo, or it's like better for grasp. But I think like a lot of chopstick learners find it difficult to use metal flat utensils, but I've got you bamboo chopsticks today. So do you guys, okay. Well, I wanted to do this part in the middle of the presentation because you guys probably have figured out what's best for you to use chopsticks, right? You guys have your own way of using chopsticks? Yeah, all right. And no matter what the proper way is, you're gonna go back to what you're comfortable with. So, but let me run through this video that actually shows you the proper way of using chopsticks.
Here is a simple way to learn chopsticks. With a little practice, you'll be a master in no time. Step 1, go ahead and just pinch the chopstick somewhere around the middle, a little bit above, to where you just are pinching it with your 2 fingers. Now you'll have a hole underneath. You just slide the other stick underneath that. Now I'm pinching the top, and I'm using my other finger, my middle finger there, to go ahead and just hold the other side. So I have the top pinched, the middle finger is bracing the other side, and of course it's being braced by the inside of my thumb. So once again, pinch the top, slide in the bottom, and then go ahead and use that little middle finger
right, so the challenge is, let's try with shrimp crackers. The stick-looking stick. Okay, let's see if you guys can try it without. Oh wow. Okay, very good. Oh. We're gonna see some crackers on the floor.
See? No. How did I do? I just have it on.
That's what I did.
All right, okay, it looks like it was so easy for most of you guys. Let's try the corn puff one, the round thingy ones. Let's try those. I totally underestimated you guys. You guys are so good. That's good. Wow, Susan, that was smooth. Yeah. That's awesome.
Those are corn.
Are you? Yeah. Are you guys up for the challenge?
So a little further back, you think?
Even this one might be a little difficult for me, but we're gonna try to pick up M&Ms. And before you put it in your mouth, let's see if you can hold it up. Let's see, M&Ms in the air. Wow. Okay. Woo. It's dropping somewhere. All right. I should have brought like sunflower seeds or something harder. Yeah, this is too easy, isn't it?
We did it.
Awesome. There. Yeah. Okay, let's add, because this is too easy for you guys, I'm gonna add a little component to the challenge. Let's pretend the restaurant is closing and you need to eat all of your M&Ms really fast, because it's closing down in 1 minute. You need to finish your M&Ms. Awesome.
Yeah, I know, I did too.
Even though it's a winner, you know, but the asterisk next to
Wow. Awesome.
She tried to grab it and force it and went flying. Jessica tried to put me out with an M&M.
I find it challenging with lefties. Yeah. Is it really? Right? Yeah. We're just not used to it, right? Alright, who finished all of their M&Ms? Okay, so we're still working on it, okay? That's impressive. He threw it in the air. Uh-huh. 1 second, please. Sorry. Mm. Right. Was it the fish-shaped one? Okay. Oh, gotcha. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we use those pastes a lot, especially for desserts. We put it as a filling for rice cakes, like any type of pastries. Yeah, it just looks weird, right? Like purpley, browny color. But yeah, I think it's a required taste. finished your M&Ms? Are you guys sugar high by now? Okay. Surplus energy, folks. I think you guys are ready for your trip to Korea. That's awesome. Okay. You're gonna eat less because of chopsticks? Yeah. So, chopsticks are obviously used to pick up food rather than cutting or stabbing. Yeah, I added not used for air drumming, but you can if you really want to impress your Korean friends that you're dining with. It's always fun to do that. But when not in use, we usually put it on the right side of your dish, your plate. Just rest it together. We do that. And we use metal, like I've mentioned. I think it washes better. We sanitize it with hot water, so I think metal utensils are pretty hygienic. We use metal spoons for rice and soup, and chopsticks for anything else. And I think metal chopsticks are really helpful when we are eating barbecue. You don't want your wooden chopsticks to catch fire, right? So it has many benefits. Did you guys find it helpful to learn about chopsticks today? Yeah? Would you use it at home? Would you try to use it?
Not if I was hungry.
Yeah. When you're hungry, use your hands. I understand that. One thing that I wanted to note is that just in case, it sometimes looks fun to stick your chopsticks or spoon in the middle of the rice bowl, but try to avoid that in Korean restaurants or when you're eating at a Korean friend's house. This behavior, sticking utensils in the middle, is reserved for memorial service. So it's kind of symbol for inviting spirits to have a meal. So I'm just throwing this out in case it looks like a fun thing to do. Your Korean friends might laugh at you and say, "Oh, we don't do that here." All right. So we're getting into dining etiquettes. I think rule of thumb is just any other etiquettes that you have in your daily life, it applies here. But one thing very unique to Korean culture is that we wait until the oldest person of your group or the one in highest rank usually raise their utensil that initiates, okay, it's time to eat. It sounds weird, right? So usually when we have like a family gathering, our grandpa will be the first one to eat and the rest of us will start. I'm not asking you to follow this. It's just that when you're dining out with Korean group and you kind of see people just waiting until the one person initiates, that's just our culture. And when you are a guest to a Korean household, they may ask you to serve yourself first because you're the special one of the dining table. Does that make sense? Okay. And for those of you that missed our first two training, rule of thumb when it comes to Korean culture, we use both hands. When you hand out business cards, when you even shake your hands, it's common for Koreans to use both hands. So that applies to dining scene as well. When you are offering like the water or like some side dish that another person seems to really enjoy, we use both hands to receive as well. And slurping. So it's a funny culture in Korea that we eat a lot of hot temperature food, and because we use chopsticks instead of forks, so forks you kind of roll your pasta, using the spoon and then put it in your mouth. But with chopsticks, you can actually slurp your way with your noodles. So I think because of that, when you guys watch like Korean dramas or go to Korean restaurants, you may hear some sound and you're like, what the heck is that? It's actually slurping. And what's funny is that like loud slurping, the louder you slurp, that's a compliment to the chef. Can you believe that? but it's kind of like a culture that we are realizing, okay, this is kind of considered rude in many other countries, so let's minimize the slurping as a whole country. But there's still slippering folks that are out in the restaurants and at homes. So if you really want to impress your Korean chef, go ahead and slurp all the way with noodles. But yeah, just wanted to point that out to you. So drinking etiquettes. Let's see, is it possible, does everybody have a glass? If you guys have glasses, BJ will be handing those out. So we have a very popular drink. A lot of Westerners just know it as the green bottle in Korea. That's soju. It's a distilled spirit made from rice, wheat, or barley. It's about 20% alcohol. So it's pretty strong. It's like, I would say it's somewhat between vodka and sake, the Japanese sake, but it's like, you'll see this at barbecue places, you'll see in, sometimes in your local liquor stores, sometimes they would carry Korean soju. As you see in the picture, they're receiving soju with 2 hands. And we also have our Korean, our own beer brands. It's 4 to 5%, so it's a good balance, because we usually mix soju with beer. Imagine that, we like to mix things. So we have different brands called Terra, Kas, and Cloud. You may find those in Korean restaurants and barbecue places. Yeah, so golf club, country club, if you can have those, yes, that'll be fantastic. Koreans love to golf and drink. Yep. One very distinct culture when it comes to drinking in Korea is we don't pour ourselves. We usually, it's a culture that Koreans like to pour drinks for one another, and remember to use both hands. It's just a good gesture when you're dealing with Korean nationals. So it's actually considered like a bad luck when you pour your own drink in Korea, so that we usually wait until your friend or other people at the table recognize an empty glass and they'll pour it for you. So when you're drinking with Korean business partners and they see an empty glass, they'll keep pouring. So to avoid over drinking yourself, try to slow down. If there's like if the glass is half full, they will not fill it up for you like how other cultures are sometimes. But it's like a gesture that, hey, I'm taking my time. I'm not gonna do one shot every time like you are. So just be aware of that. And I wanted to teach you guys this phrase. We use a lot when we are, especially drinking. So I think we're getting some lemonade refilled right now because I wanted to practice. So to say cheers, which literally means empty glass, but you don't have to, we say konbae. Konbae. I think in Chinese and Japanese, it's very similar, like ganbai. It's very similar sounding in Korean as well. Can you guys say konbae? Konbae. So you can say with excitement because you're about to drink. I think BJ's going around filling those in. So while he's doing that, so like I mentioned about the dining etiquette, when we're drinking, the oldest person will raise a glass and initiate cheers. And just know that it may happen more than once throughout the whole meal. Like, it's just so that we're showing, like, we're appreciating this time together. We're happy that you're here, kind of deal. So don't be surprised. Like in America, we just do cheers in the front and then keep drinking, right? But in Korea, there may be several fruit cheers together. So one thing you might learn is that when Korean younger person or the lower rank is drinking in front of older person or higher rank, we usually turn our body away and drink. It's kind of showing respect. So you may see that, but I'm not asking you to do, but it's something we do to show respect. Does everybody have a drink in your glass? Even if you don't, let's try to do cheers. Okay? Okay, let's hold it up. Hold up your glass and say, "Konbe." Alright. Alright, take a sip. Yeah.
Can we do that one more time?
Yes. So let's say 30 minutes have passed and I'm feeling awesome and I gotta do cheers one more time. We're gonna, so you can actually like clink one another, that's, if it's not too far away from each other. Okay, so we're gonna raise our glass again. Thank you guys for being here. Konbe! Awesome. Thank you guys. Yeah, this. So, I would say this is like most important phrase that you'll ever say. So, to share about Korean food and beverage within an hour was a challenge. I had to select which part of Korean food culture I wanted to share with you. But eventually we'll have more Korean restaurants and grocery stores in Korea that, in Kokomo down the road, that I hope you guys can be like pioneers in bringing all of your connections into enjoying Korean food. So hopefully this was beneficial for you guys personally and professionally. I would open for questions if you guys, it doesn't have to be food and dining specific. If you guys have any questions, I'm open to answer. Yes, sir.
So you have a seat in with chopsticks. You have a seat in with chopsticks.
Yes.
We eat everything with our hands.
Mm-hmm.
In mass quantity.
Right.
Does that insult Korean people if you use your hands over?
So we try to use utensils most of the times, but when you have to, you have to. But in Korea, I feel like most of our food is so hot that you don't see people using their hands a lot. But for pizza or hamburger, of course, we use our hands. But I think our go-to is, it won't be offensive or anything. It will just show us that you're really hungry and gotta eat right now. But yeah, it won't be offensive. Yeah. Oh, definitely use your hands. Yes, yes, for sure. Any other questions? Yes, Mayor.
So in business dinner settings, whatever, is there a particular seating arrangement or seats of those that are joining that you need to be aware of?
I think especially if there's like two parties joining together, like City of Kokomo and Star Plus meeting together, I think they might kind of mix match so that everybody can get to know each other, like Star Plus Kokomo. The head of the crew will be seated like at the end where he can see everybody, and it will be facing the door, if there's a door of your seating area, so that he can be kind of like oversee the whole table setting. So I think that could be one distinction you might see. Yes. Like in general. It's very understanding, because it shows that you care. Like using chopsticks too. Like even if you're not comfortable but you're showing that you're trying, it goes a long way. It shows that you're wanting to learn our culture. So it's something we appreciate. I mean, Korea is such a small country, we don't expect everybody to be familiar with our culture. So even small gestures like that, like using two hands, that shows it will go a long way. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
With the peninsula being so small and so densely populated, are there farms there that raise the beef?
Yes.
Or is it imported?
Yes. I think Korean beef is more expensive than, I don't know. Maybe Koreans can tell me that. But we do raise, and I think like about 70% of our land is mountains. And we have a lot of like rice paddies, so we try to grow our own too. So it has really, we have distinct 4 seasons, like US, like Indiana, not the extreme, snow in the month of April, stuff like that. But we do have 4 seasons, so it's easy for us to grow our own crops and rice and stuff like that. Yep. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
So we talked a lot about barbecues. Here in America, we use barbecue sauce, and I didn't actually see any of that with the Korean barbecue. Do you guys use a barbecue sauce at all, or is that just a thing that we do here?
We have different kinds of sauce. Like one thing you actually saw in the video, it was like salt and sesame seeds and black pepper flakes. Or as I mentioned, we use the fermented soybean paste mixed with like sesame oil, sesame seeds. So we don't have like one specific barbecue sauce. So if you see like Korean barbecue sauce in Walmart, don't go for it. It's not real. Yeah. Any other questions? We're learning together, so feel free. There are no questions that'll offend me. Yeah?
Dessert, like what kind of dessert?
I think we have we eat a lot of rice cakes with the bean paste that we talked about. There are a lot of fruits that we eat, and we usually have coffee for dessert. It's a funny concept, but Korean restaurants, when you go to Korean restaurants, they usually don't have separate dessert menu. You usually go to coffee shop because there's so many coffee shops in Korea that it's kind of like a second round after you have meal where you have coffee with desserts. Like Korean pastry is another whole world where there are cakes and macaroons and all the sweet pastry things. We eat those a lot, and like coffee, funnily, we have that as dessert because our food is so garlicky and like so spicy. We need something to cool it down afterwards, like wash it down. So, yeah. Yes.
So, people like to drink better, but of course,
Yes.
they enjoy meeting each other.
Mm-hmm.
How reserved is your culture? Do they enjoy also being loud sometimes? Or
Yes. The question was how reserved are Koreans, and do we enjoy being loud and whatnot? I haven't covered this with you today, but karaoke, it's one of our very unique culture, and you don't just sing quietly. When Koreans given a microphone, they will sing their lungs out. I think it's because Korean houses, those are mostly apartments, high-rise apartments, where you have to stay quiet, you can be so loud, that we seek out other establishments where we can be loud, like karaoke. When you go to like baseball game, people cheer so loudly, and that's like one place that we can be so loud and be ourselves. So yeah, you may find some reserved Koreans, but Koreans that actually want to have fun too. Yeah. Any other questions? We have so much kimchi left if you guys want to take home, but it's gonna sink up your car, so I'll just have it tonight. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. So did this presentation make you want to try Korean restaurant down the road? Yeah? Okay, and you get to impress your chopstick skills to your Korean friends. That's good. All right. Thank you guys for your attention and your time. Hopefully we'll see you in July.
Thank you so much. This concludes our time this afternoon. Thank you again to our sponsor, Security Federal Savings Bank, and the City of Kokomo for their generosity in today's lunch. And thank you again to the Community Foundation of Howard County for making this series possible. A big thank you to our speaker, Sooyeon Shin. Please join me in another round of applause for Sue. Thank you to Posterific for a wonderful lunch and Ivy Tech for hosting us this afternoon. And lastly, thank you for your attendance here this afternoon. We've been so amazed at how eager the community has been in embracing our new neighbors. It shows just how welcoming our community is, and taking the time to be here today shows that you are a positive force in our community. Please check out greaterkokomo.com/culture for more information on the rest of the series. If you would like to be placed on the wait list for our July series and haven't registered, please be sure to email me at cbutler@greaterkokomo.com. I'd be happy to get that on the wait list for you. And thank you again for your attendance this afternoon. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you.